But feel free to use the chat feature, which I'll be monitoring throughout the session so that I can make sure to answer your questions. We'll also go ahead and open it up for Q&A at the end as well. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the most obvious question. When will zONE be available to staff and agents? The system launch date is set for this Monday. I think all of us are up to date on that information. So where do I go and how do I log in? Beginning January 23rd, existing staff and agents will access the following site using their current MyROG username and password. This information will be emailed out to you on Monday, and also when you log into MyROG, you'll receive a link to the site as well. New users added on or after January 23rd will not have to go through the registration. It will simply take them to the one.zone. What will staff and agents have to verify at first login? So during the registration portion, anyone who currently has a MyROG username and password, someone who is active, regardless of their role, will be taken through a registration process the very first time they log into zONE. So there was all of your current users, all of your current agents and staff will be transferred over and created. They've already been created in zONE. So the information contained in these 5 steps is the information that's being pulled over from MyROG to zONE. So step 1 will consist of the user entering their MyROG login. Excuse me. Step 2 will be verification of personal information. This step is more for agents since staff doesn't necessarily update address and email and personal information within MyROG. And they shouldn't do so in zONE either. So agents will verify that address, email, all of the information that they want to transfer over to zONE. Step 3 will consist of confirming billing information. Credit card information is being transferred over from MyROG to zONE as well. So they'll be able to see the card on file. They can either continue and accept, or they can update their credit card at that time. A credit card must be provided in order to move it on. So for your agents who do not currently have a credit card on file, they will be required to enter a credit card on step 3 before they can move on. Step 4 consists of just a brief training video. It's about 3 minutes long, and we're going to ask that everyone review that video before moving on to step 5. And on step 5, that's where the user will receive their new username. They'll be able to update their password. And once registration is complete, they will also be able to log into zONE for the very first time. An email will be sent to the user with their username, password that they just updated, and a link to the site as well. So what is SkySlope? Hopefully you've all attended a SkySlope training. So far we've been hosting them since the beginning of this month. SkySlope is our new paperless transaction management system that is fully integrated within zONE. SkySlope will replace our existing transaction management system, Paperless Exchange. What about DigiSign? So if you took the trainings, you know that DigiSign is a component, an e-signature tool within SkySlope. It was mentioned before that that DigiSign would be free for the first 3 months to agents, but we did receive confirmation that DigiSign will be offered free of charge to agents and staff as part of the SkySlope integration. Agents are not required to use DigiSign. Agents may use any signature software platform they prefer. That was a popular question that we received after the agent trainings. Agents were a little confused, but you can tell your agents they can continue to use DocuSign, AuthentiSign, ZipLogic, whatever it is that they're currently using. I've heard the term admin used a lot. You'll hear admin, staff. So we've built a number of training materials, training videos, and I'll show you where to find those in just a moment. Now, I wanted to just clarify who is considered an admin when you're reviewing the content. We consider admins anyone with office admin, compliance, TC, and or broker permissions. So basically any non-agent zone users. So you'll hear this term a lot. You'll hear agent and admin. So what happens to MyROG transactions? MyROG will still be accessible after January 23rd to both staff and agents. Transactions in open or new status will not be transferred to zONE or SkySlope. Agents and staff can access these transactions by going to myrog.com to upload, review, and close transactions. So anything that agents have already created in the system in MyROG should still be completed and closed within MyROG as well. I'll go over the transition schedule in just a bit, but anything that has not been created in MyROG and agents have now executed, you want to make sure that they are creating any new transactions as of January 23rd in zONE. Closed, canceled, and expired, these transactions will not be converted to SkySlope and will only be accessible for historical lookup within MyROG. We have put a March date out there as far as how long MyROG will be available to everyone. IT is working on a lookup feature that will be accessible in zONE. We don't have a date for when that will be available, so you will have access to MyROG for as long as you need to have access. So I know that different states have different requirements, and you'll need access to pull those transactions and the documents, so that will still be available to you. Now, going over the zONE transition schedule. So you'll notice that agent and SkySlope training began on January 5th, and we began staff zONE training, which is what we're currently on right now, this week, or last week actually. So after the 27th, you'll notice that we go down to 1 or 2 trainings a week. There will be ongoing trainings. There are training videos as well that we're recording all of these sessions. We're recording new videos that aren't webinars. So you will have a resource center to search for that content. And then right below there it goes into the MyROG transition as well as zONE. So you'll notice that obviously there is an overlap between MyROG and zONE. So come Monday, compliance, our doc reviewers, they will continue to have the bulk of their work still exist within MyROG. And you'll notice that as we get closer to March, the workload should shift to zONE. We know that you will have to access both systems. No dual entry is needed, but the workload should be the same as far as number of transactions and documents. It'll just exist within 2 systems for a time period. So where can I find more information and training videos? You can find all training resources at the following site. We are in the process of building how-to guides to go along with the training videos that are available. The support center, which I will show you in just a bit in zONE, will be available February 15th and will house all of this content and much more. We're building a support and forms area that you'll be able to manage for your office, and we'll also be including any of the training material. So for now, until all of that content is available within the support center, we've built this link and this page so that you can reference it. We'll send out an email after this call. You'll be receiving an email from Maria Ward with a link to 2 videos that we're going to ask that you view by the end of today. They're 5 minutes and then the other one's 2 minutes. They're not lengthy at all. or you can watch them, first thing Monday morning as well. And then she'll also be providing this link to you for you to review. So I'm going to go ahead and log into zONE and do just a brief overview. Hopefully everyone's able to see my new screen. And I am training in the staging site today. Come Monday, everyone will be in production. So I've successfully logged in. You'll notice that the system takes me to my new updated dashboard. I'm going to cover a few items such as the menu and the different links that are available up at the top before we go into how to create a user and manage new users going forward. So starting on the left-hand side, you'll notice that there's a link. So agents and staff will be able to click on this link, which will give you a drop-down menu to either your account or to log out. And I'll go over that in just a second and show you how to upload a picture. Right below there is a compliance section. Please reference the CommLog training video. We've had a few sessions, and I believe we have one more today where we are training everyone on how to create a CommLog within zONE. So those details are available via a different webinar. Right below there is an office link. So when you log in for the first time on Monday, there will be a checklist for you to go through to verify items such as your office, your account, and you'll get familiar with the system and make sure that all of your information is accurate the very first time you log in. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and click on My Office. And I think I'm logged into the corporate office right now. So it'll show you kind of like a public view, public profile view of your office. So anyone searching within the system for your office will be able to see this information. Right below there is an office search feature. There is a field to look up specific information. There's also a predefined list with all of the offices that you can filter through as well. Below office search is an office map. The office map allows you to hover over an office, and you'll notice that you can click on the picture, and the system will take you back to the, again, public profile view of that office. So manager content right now should be available on Monday. So the manager's information should be displayed here with contact information. Going down the list on the left-hand side of the menu, the next area is transactions. The transactions link will lead staff and agents to the SkySlope homepage. That's where you'll create new transactions. For compliance, you will review documents within the transactions area. You will also close transactions within the transactions tab as well. So please reference the CommLog video or trainings for more information. Right below there is a user section. So you'll notice that there's a My Account tab here, in addition to a My Account tab in the upper left-hand corner as well. This area will lead you back to your account so that you'll be able to view the details of your account. You'll see first name, last name, emergency contacts. For agents, obviously, they will have more content. Staff, we don't recommend that staff enter personal information in the system, but this is the same view that agents will see. For those of you who have multiple offices, you'll be able to see the offices that you're enrolled in. This is also where you'll be able to manage those offices. And we'll go over how to create a new user in just a moment. I did want to show you the public info tab. you'll notice that my picture right now is in pending status. My ROG data, user data, has migrated into zONE. So if an agent has a bio, a website, their first name, last name, email address, all of that is being converted over, but pictures are not. So my ROG pictures, you know, when you upload them to the system, they get stretched. There's all sorts of stuff that happens. So we weren't able to convert pictures. So this is one of the checklist items at first login for agents and staff. We're going to ask you to just go down here. It'll say add picture, and go to your desktop to select that picture. And from here, you'll notice that you can go ahead and crop it. So agents will be able to do this on their own going forward. You can maximize, minimize, and then over on the right-hand side, or I'm sorry, left-hand side, you'll notice that there's an option to crop and then save. The picture now goes into a pending status. So this pending status will show if any of the information on this page has been updated. And we'll go over the admin section and how to go over and approve pictures in just a moment, or any content. There is also a pending profiles video available as well. Right below my account is a user search. And we're very excited about the search, the office search and also the user search. It's a smart search. So you'll notice that you can enter a name, address, location, email, or any combination. So if I'm looking for an Anaheim agent who speaks Spanish, you'll notice that I received one confirmation back. It did pull in a Laguna Niguel agent. And that's because you'll notice that, oh, I did not mean to do that. Let me go back. You'll notice that it pulled in a Laguna Niguel agent, but it's because he has the word Anaheim in his email. So the smart search will search across the entire profile of the agent. So phone number, email address, anything in their bio as well. So we're very excited about this feature. There's also a more selection on the right-hand side where you can filter down to active users, inactive. We are working on updating and adding more different drop-downs to this area, as well as a way to export this information. So I'm going to go ahead and search for one of my test accounts. So if I'm an agent, I can use the search feature to look for agents within the system. They will not be able to export information. Only admins will be able to export, but they will be able to search. So you'll notice that I received 3 different search results back. Caitlin, you know, I believe that feature, the hire date, is not displayed here, but that's definitely something that we'll be able to add. I'm going to go ahead and write that down. So you'll notice that I received 3 search results at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and access my Huntington Beach account, and you'll notice that you can click anywhere above any of the search areas here. And the system will take you to a, again, public profile view of the user's profile. So if somebody called you and said, hey, can you reset my password? Or if you need to look someone's billing up or any of that, that's the feature you're going to use. And for agents who search for an agent, this is as far as they'll be able to go. This matches the public profile basically on realty1group.com. So we're not being exposed, the agent isn't being exposed to any other confidential information. You as an admin will have access to this edit tab in the upper right-hand corner, where you'll be able to go into edit and then view the details of the agent's information of their profile. A popular request, as we all know, is I forgot my password, can you reset it for me? So in the upper right-hand corner, there is a feature to reset a user's password. By clicking Reset User's Password, you'll receive a green confirmation that the user's password has been sent successfully. And what happens by resetting the password is that it sends an email to the agent's personal email address. You can no longer override that password or create a password. And when they log in, they're able to reset it if they don't like whatever was emailed to them. They can also click on a Forgot Password link at the login page as well. So I'm going to go back to user search and go ahead and search, just conduct one more search. You'll see my search results again at the bottom. From here, you can click anywhere over the search result, and it'll take you again to a public profile view where you'll be able to go back through and edit. Right below user search, you'll see a create user link, and we'll be going over that in just a moment. Under the admin section is a pending profile area and a private office area. Pending profiles will show all of the pending profiles. This is almost identical to the MyROG version. So if you're already doing that throughout MyROG, it will be very similar. Private office information has converted over. So one of the checklist items that we will ask you to go through at first login on Monday is to verify that your private offices are accurate. And then right below there is a calendar feature, which we're very excited about because we don't have a calendar in MyROG. And the calendar feature for agents, they'll be able to see this in read-only format. They won't be able to obviously edit this at all. But for admins, you will be able to drag and drop events, fill out all of the event details, and then add the event to the calendar. And you'll see that you have CE classes, orientations, different accessibility to the different types of events. Agents will be able to view this information. And if you ever need to edit this information, you'll just have to go back in here to click on the icon, and a pop-up will appear where you'll be able to edit as well, or delete. Under the marketing section on the left-hand side is a link to one dashboard, and then a shop tab that leads you back to one store and dSign, and then a support tab. The support center is the page that I mentioned will be ready by February 15th. This is going to be a merged version of the support page within MyROG and the forms tab within MyROG. So this is where agents will go to contact their broker, download maybe a copy of your W-9, your checklist. You'll be able to kind of build the content within that area. For now, this is not currently linked, but for now, when an admin or an agent clicks on Support Center, IT is working on just linking this web page here, which is what I'm going to go over after we go through creating a user. And this is where the content for zONE, where do I start day one, a link to first-time login checklist, which I mentioned. You can download these as a PDF. The training video links, flyers, FAQs. This is where we've housed all of the content that we've created so far. And then the transaction support link. Transaction support, if you've already taken SkySub training, you know that they have 24/7 support. So agents who need help after hours or on the weekends or even during business hours, they can contact SkySub directly, and SkySub will walk them through the process of creating a transaction, answering general questions. They've also, SkySub has been given or trained on how to reset passwords if they receive that request, how to guide agents to where to order business cards, very general information about the system. So if they do receive something more detailed, such as an agent inquiring about an invoice or possibly why a document was rejected, they will refer that question back to your branch. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to the training video links, and we'll go over this page just very briefly and then open it up for Q&A after we create a new user. So we're going to go ahead and watch the how to create a new user. When we get to the billing portion, I will pause the session for just a moment because we received an update yesterday, but we haven't had a chance to update the video, which we will be doing this weekend. So I just want to clarify one portion that's incorrect in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play the session. Again, feel free to ask any questions via the chat, and we will be monitoring that and answering the questions after the session. Hello everyone, and welcome to zONE training. During this session, we will be covering how to create a new user within the system. To get started, you'll need to log into zONE, and over on the left-hand side, you'll notice a users area that you'll need to click on and then select Create User. From there, the system will take you to a pop-up where you'll need to select the new user type. For this demonstration, we're going to go ahead and select an agent or create an agent account, since that's really the majority of what we're going to be doing in the system. You'll notice that you have other options that we'll go ahead and review in just a bit. From there, select Start. You'll notice that the username field is not accessible. The system will automatically generate the username and password and email it to the agent. So you will no longer have access to override the password that's generated by the system. And this is just for security reasons. You won't be able to view their password. You will be able to view their username, but not their password. And we'll go over that in more detail in just a bit. So moving on, I'm going to go ahead and update the agent's hire date to January 13th. Then type in the first name, last name, birth date, and address. And you'll notice that as you type in the address, different drop-down options are available that you can go ahead and just click on, and it'll automatically populate the rest of the screen. Moving on to the right-hand side, office info. This should default to the office that you are currently logged into or that you currently have access to. If you do have multiple offices within your company, you can select this plus sign over on the right-hand side, and you will have access to the offices within your company. You will not see this long list here. You'll be able to select that office and then go ahead and add an office. For agent users, of course, they usually primarily have access to just one office within the system, so the defaulted office is normally the correct one. From there, you'll type in the primary phone number and email address. Now, something to note about the personal email address is that this email address has to be completely unique from anyone else in the system. So for teams or maybe husband and wife teams sometimes like to share email addresses. This is a SkySlope requirement. SkySlope is the new transaction management system that's been integrated, and they require each user to have a unique email address. So again, the system will give you an error if you try to create a user with a duplicate email address. So when agents come in to sign up, just remind them when they're filling out that agent information sheet that if they're coming in as a team, it has to be completely unique from their team members. And over on the right-hand side, you can also add emergency contacts. This isn't a requirement, but if you are adding emergency contacts, it's usually these three fields that you will have on hand. There is a new feature now that adds an email address as well. So I'll go ahead and add that contact. For a referring agent, if this agent was referred by another Realty One Group agent, you can search for that agent by selecting their office and then searching for their name. And again, if this agent is part of a team, you can type in that team name there. Now, you'll notice that you don't have access to the other tabs, public info, programs, billing, documents, or settings yet. And the reason that you don't have access yet is because you need to pre-authorize this agent before we are able to go through the different tabs. And this is related to the authorize.net integration that really generates a lot of our billing and our automated billing. So in this case, once the account tab is completely filled out, you'll go up here to add and continue. And what that does is it just really gives you access to the other tabs. You've officially onboarded this agent. They have not received their username and password at this point. They will receive it once you complete their entire profile. So now that that's been updated, you'll notice that you now have access to the other tabs. So we'll go ahead and move on to the public info tab. And the public info tab is really where agents should be once they log into the system, they should be going in to update their picture, their bio, website designations, all of this information. Any information that was previously in MyROG is being converted over. So that should all still be in here. We encourage agents to update this frequently. There is a live feed from zONE to realty1group.com. So now when agents come in here to update their profile, there is all of the information that's updated here by an agent does get sent to a pending profile area where someone in your office, typically an admin, someone who has admin privileges to the system, would go in and review their picture, click on their website, make sure everything that they are updating here is appropriate, and would then, once approved, gets automatically pushed to the site. So again, there is another video that goes over that process in detail that you're free to reference as well. So moving on to the programs area. The programs area has been separated into two separate sections. The first beginning with the automatic enrollment program. So these are programs that an agent is automatically enrolled in. You'll notice that some of these might not pertain, or they might not apply to your office, such as print director, key fobs. Those are being removed if they don't apply to your office. So please disregard. It does state that they're enrolled. It won't charge them. It won't do anything at this time. This is something that IT is currently working on. So don't worry about that at this moment. It will be updated soon. And then at the bottom, there's the optional enrollment programs. And these are the programs that really have to do with billing, maybe how much an agent is billed every month, or how much of their commission we need to deduct on a closing. And this can usually be found in their independent contractor agreement when they first sign up with the company. So if the agent signed up for the mentee program, they would have to be enrolled in the mentor program. Maybe the broker and agent negotiated a cap in transaction fees. The system will calculate that based on the information that you type in here. You might have received an agent garnishment for an agent that's already enrolled. This is where you would actually enroll that agent in that program as well. In the how-to guides, there are screenshots of each program with detailed instructions on how to go through this process. So if you have any questions, this is there are a lot of fields on these. It's usually one-time setup. So you set it up one time, you don't really have to worry about it unless you have to unenroll an agent, then you would have to come back to this section. But please reference those how-to guides. Moving on to the billing area. Now the billing area has changed a little bit, comparing it back to MyROG again. You'll notice that you do not currently have access to invoice an agent. You do not currently have access to create any invoices at this time. Now, due to the Authorize.net integration, what Authorize.net requires is that an agent have a credit card on file prior to being able to create an invoice. So I'm going to go ahead and update the card number and credit card information for this agent. And again, we have a payment enrollment form template that you are normally having the agent fill out at this time. And that's where you're gathering this information from. I'm going to go ahead and fill out their first and last name, the expiration date, and the last three on the card. The billing address on the right does not have to be filled out if it matches the address that you typed into the account tab. Now, if it's different, then you do have to add that information here. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and authorize the credit card. And by authorizing the credit card, what it does is it sends it to Authorize.net, and you receive a validation. Now, once this card is validated, you will have to come up here to the top and save. And by saving, what you're doing is you're just saving that credit card on file now. Because we are in the staging site, I will have to manually refresh this page. Now you'll notice that we have access to the Make Payment, Create Invoice, and Create Refund buttons. For new hires, new agents that are being hired on, the first invoice has to be manually created. So sign-up fees, the site access fees, all of the first-time payments do have to be manually invoiced. So I'm going to go ahead and select Create Invoice. And I'm going to leave the due date and the late date, which are just defaulted by the system. And then select Add Line Item. For type, you'll notice that you have a few options here. IT is working on adding more line item types here. So look out for those, especially at sign up. We have a few more that we need. I'm going to go ahead and select site access dues. And I'll default the start date to the 17th through the end of the month. So just the remaining balance of January is what I'm going to go ahead and charge them for. You'll notice that the system prorates that amount automatically. You have an option to waive this item if necessary, and also add a note to the invoice. And then you would go ahead and save. From here, you would select Create Invoice. And you'll notice that the system now generates an invoice number, gives you some details about the due date, and the status as pending. Now, in order to make a payment, you do have to go through the process of waiting until that invoice is marked as open. Once the status is marked as open, which typically takes Authorize.net about 24 hours, so you should have access to run the credit card the next business day, you would come here and select the checkbox over on the left-hand side, and then select Make a Payment. Hi everyone, this is where I wanted to stop the recording because this is what I had been misinformed, or I didn't understand the process. So when you create the invoice, it's actually creating the invoice and making the payment. So they are going to change that link to say process payment, like create invoice and process payment, something like that. They're working on it right now. So the pending status means that the payment has been sent to authorize.net. You do not have to come back in 24 hours later. So we will be updating the recording, but I wanted to just make sure that I clarified that. And I saw that Erica sent a chat message. So we cannot create invoices unless there is a credit card on file. Is that right? Yes, that is correct. Is it permanent? I don't believe so. We have received a lot of feedback regarding credit cards on file and payments, so that is being discussed. But for launch, that will be the process, yes. So again, this is for user creation. So this will be for new hires. New hires, you're usually taking credit card information on the payment enrollment template that we provide. So you as an admin creating a new user, you will be going in to enter their credit card information, and you'll have that as part of the new hire. Justine, just to be clear, the admin is responsible for processing the payment on behalf of the agent, and we aren't waiting for the agent to make a payment. Yes, correct. So on that pop-up, when you go to create invoice, when you complete all of the different fields, the last button to confirm and create the invoice will be changed to create invoice and process payment. So it will happen at the same time. You will not have to wait for the agent to log in to make a payment. So I'm going to go ahead and play the video, and again, any questions, just let us know, and we'll monitor that after the video. There are some enhancements that we are looking into. Keep in mind this is the first version, and we're going to be really looking for your input on the different aspects of enrolling agents and all of what's contained in that. Now moving on to the documents area. This is where you will select or type in more information about the agent, public ID, license information, that's very important, license number, expiration date, W-9 information. And then at the bottom, the user document section. This is the area where you will upload a copy of the agent file, such as their independent contractor agreement, a copy of their license, anything that you need to keep on file. You can either drag and drop documents into this area, or you can select the button and upload a document. And there is a PDF file splitter that's available. You can either select to just upload the document as a bulk upload or launch the file splitter. And in this case, you'll notice that there are a few options in document type. And what we've done here is we've just generated a really general list of what you will normally keep on file. We understand that each office might have different requirements, so this will be something that will be customizable eventually per office. For these documents, I'm going to go ahead and say that the first page is the agent information page, and the second page is their license information. Then I'll select upload file. And the last tab is the settings tab. Now, we left the settings area for last on purpose. We don't anticipate you making a lot of changes in this area for a number of reasons. One, an agent's role is really predefined as far as what they're able to do in the system. Now, when you're creating user accounts for employees or someone who needs more access to the system, you'll notice that you're able to add multiple roles to a user's account, such as accounting, office admin, office manager, staff, transaction coordinator. There is a document that outlines all of the role types and what those roles give users access to within the system. So please reference that document if you have any questions. But for the purpose of enrolling an agent, you'll notice that this agent that we're currently creating is still in pending status. And that's related to when we first went through and updated their account tab and saved the profile, really created the profile. Now, in order to create an agent in the system, they do have to have a credit card on file, which is what we did in the billing area. So the only way to enroll an agent and give them full access to the system is for them to have a credit card on file. Now, once that's been complete, you have access to come up to the top and approve the user. Now, by approving the user, what occurs here is the system validates that all of the required fields have been filled out, and it also sends the username, password, and a link to the site to the agent. So the agent has now been successfully onboarded through zONE. Now, because we are in staging again, I'm going to go ahead and manually refresh just so you can see that pending status removed from their profile. And I'll go back to the settings area, and you'll notice that now the agent has been enrolled and the pending status has been removed. Thank you for watching this video. There are many other videos available to you that go. All right, everyone. Now, okay, Justine, I see that you submitted a question regarding agent billing, and if an invoice was created and invoice paid, but the agent was charged wrong for something, what's the process to adjust for the incorrect charge? That's a really good question, and that has come up. You'll notice that, let me log out of this page. You'll notice that there is, let me see if I can view it in my account. There is a refund button. And unlike the refund button in MyROG, this one does work. We did verify, this was a popular question earlier this week. I wonder if it, let me search for a user. I might have to create an invoice for the user. And I'll show you where that refund button appears. Now, in order to refund an agent, you will have to, the payment has to go through, the invoice has to be sent to authorize.net before it'll let you revert it back as a refund. So the agent will see the charge, and then they'll see the refund, if that makes sense. Let me go to billing. We are on the staging site, so it is a little slow. I'm not sure if it's going to let me do that, but I'll send you a screenshot of what that looks like. It might not be updating right now because of the staging site, but there is a refund button there. What about other methods of payment? We have quite a few agents who use checks or sometimes cash. Erica, that's a very good question. The system was built strictly for credit cards, but it is being discussed right now on how to process other forms of payment. If you can send me or Maria Ward that question in particular, we're gathering everyone's feedback and prioritizing that list of the enhancements that we need to push ASAP. So any other questions at this time? Okay, if not, I'm going to go ahead and go to the Resource Center so that you can see that. Is there any easy way to or report to know when an agent's credit card is going to expire? Justine, so similar to the manager office overview, in MyROG, we are building a new manager office overview in zONE. So that will be available very soon, yes. And Erica, I will stand by for your question. I think you're typing. But in the meantime, I did want to show you the support center. When you log in on Monday, I know I briefly went over this, but I want to show you when you log in on Monday, agents and staff will be taken to this website here. So this right here is the support center for now. This is the resource center. Now, when it comes to the new support center that will be available come February 15th, that will be an area that you'll be able to manage for your office. That's where agents will be able to see manager information, download W-9, stock checklists, that sort of thing. For now, it won't be available until mid-February, but we wanted to give you access to all of the training sites that are available as of right now. So you'll notice that the first menu option in the upper left-hand corner is zONE, where do I start? This will lead you through a step-by-step process. You'll notice that the links are not, two of the links to the registration process are not available. This will be updated on Monday. We don't want anyone going to that site just yet. But it goes over zONE is launching January 23rd. Where should I go? Okay, I've registered. How do I log in? I'm in. What should I do next? And this link will be submitted or available through the MyROG pop-up on Monday, and you'll also be receiving it via email after this call. So you'll be able to review all of this content. Then right below there, excuse me, it goes into who can I contact if I experience any issues, where can I access training specific to my position. So all of the training videos are here. You'll also see that there are 2 YouTube channels that I'll show you in just a bit, where it will, we have quite a few trainings that we're adding more to this content. So we're going to ask that you subscribe to this so that you're alerted when any new content is available. Oh, let me go back. The second menu option is first time login checklist. So these are the items that we are going to ask you to verify the very first time you log in. And you can download a PDF version of any of these pages so that you can easily print them out. And there are also, for each section, there is a link to a video that will walk you through this particular step before you should move on to the next step. These are short videos, 3, 4, 5 minutes long, so please make sure that you're reviewing these. And then there's a section for training videos, flyers, and then also other content such as frequently asked questions and the transition schedule. So most of the content that we've sent out already is available here for you. Now, Erica, going back to your question, let me see if I can find it. Was that regarding, let's see. So we cannot create invoices unless there is a credit card on file. Is that the question that you're referring to? Okay, so yes, as of right now, that is the only way to create an invoice is to have a credit card on file. So for the process of creating a new user, in the new hire packet template, there is a payment enrollment form that a lot of our offices use, where you can ask the agent to provide a credit card. So you can use that credit card form in order to go through the process of entering the agent's credit card, which will then give you access to generate invoices. Now, we've received a lot of feedback regarding that particular piece and having other options to make other types of payments. So if you can send us, Maria Ward and myself, an email with that particular question so that we can consolidate with the other feedback we've received, IT is going to be prioritizing those items beginning on Monday. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Erica. So that concludes the training for today. I'm going to go ahead and in the chat feature, I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste the link to the site so you guys can start checking it out. Now, you will receive an email shortly with instructions on the 2 videos that we would like you to review today. The first is a 5-minute video. The second one is a 2-minute video. So it's very, very, it won't take you too much time, I promise. But if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you so much for attending the session today. Have a great rest of your day.